Hello, and welcome back to Revingham. I am Rever, and this is Banished. And we have been banished into the woods. At least we're near a river where we can get some fish, because we definitely need more fish. We have zero food, it looks like. It's not very good, but that's not totally true. Hopefully people's houses are pretty well stocked. I think we've been doing okay. And in the last episode, we upped the number of fishermen, so I'm hoping that has an impact. We had planned on a couple different buildings here. So the thing that we're working on, if you remember from the last episode, is our trading post. As you guys know, I like to sort of put my priority of what we're going to build over here. And I think for the sake of the fishing and even future plans, that getting this storage barn over here built. And not too long after that, I'd like to get a wooden house going over here. So at some point we can get other things going. And I think we should have a good number of people hitting their limits. Like our coats, we have 17, but I don't think they have the supplies they need, or if they are working on things. Yeah, they have 6 leather, so we should be getting coats, and that's enough for now anyway. I'm not panicked about that, but good that we have coats for people. It's getting past, it's early spring, so we shouldn't need them too much, but we'll need them next winter, of course. Alright, so it's been a little while since I recorded an episode, so I got a couple different comments that I'd like to address, and one is the schools. Yes, absolutely, we will be getting into schools, probably something I should have mentioned in retrospect. It's an important thing, and I know some people make it their top priority. And I have too, depending on the circumstances. One of the things I like to do, though, especially in a hard map, is to get, maybe, if every map, it's great to get more and more people, right? That's how you get more and more things done. If you have too small of a population, if you don't build enough houses, then you can really get, I mean, you can get crippled by a disease at any moment, and it makes your whole map fall apart. But the other thing that you'll have happen is, I like to call it the great die-off. If you don't keep having babies, then you get this like population, like the baby boom, all gets old and passes away, and then you find yourself without enough people. So you really want to make sure you're making babies, and I think that we're doing particularly well with our population. The problem is, it's sort of forced me to make and go towards more food as opposed to taking the time to build a school. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't build a school. But before we start building things like schools, which are relatively expensive, I would like to, well, first of all, make sure we have enough food. You can see we're cutting through 300 food pretty quick. And when you see it go down to 0, you don't get too excited when it spikes up here, because next thing you know, they're going to come to refill their houses if they had moments where they couldn't refill the house. Let's make sure that we have enough. Distract myself slightly here. I want to start clearing out this area. I don't really, well, yeah, we might as well get the iron. There we go. Yeah, it's nice to get these little food and supplies, these herbs and stuff. The trees I'm not too worried about. We can cut them down. Maybe they'll grow before we get there. I gotta learn to hit the right click. Been playing too much of workers and resources, where I keep, instead of hitting right click to cancel, I've been hitting escape. So it's ingrained into my brain. So there we go. So that should keep people busy if they didn't have any other tasks. Yeah, look, they're coming right down here right away. So we definitely want to keep everyone busy as much as possible. Now over here, we're mostly just planning. So I did take a little bit of time before I started to record to kind of think about what we want to do. And I was looking around for where we would expand to. And there's a few places we could build bridges across. It might be a little hard to get, you know, they're not perfect, big, huge open spaces where we'd put a whole nother big, huge town. And like this whole side of the map over up here is just sort of a mess. Like there's just not much. It's almost like a mountains map up here. So, but we do have some more room over here if we went way up here, which we're not nearly close to doing. Reserve food is low. Yeah, no. We'll probably hear that buzzer or that ding more than once. So looking at like what is realistic, I mean, we could definitely try to get a bridge across to here and do some things over on this. I guess it's a peninsula. It's not really. Well, it is. Is it an island? Yeah, I guess it's a really funny shaped island. There we go. We have a peninsula. Looks like the tip of Florida. And that's really not a bad place, too, because you keep in mind, we could do more than one trading post. If you get out here, you can put another trading post over here. And we do have a good amount of space over here. Our best space, really, is just south of us, which one of the ways you can approach getting into and building like this will be one of our better areas. There's a bit of a hill. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video over here. But this might really be a good area in the long run to expand our farms to. So with that in mind, what I was thinking of is there's either that or up here. Now, I tend to like to do farms that are 15 long. So let's go over to our farming tab here. And the reason for that is it's awful close to what you might consider an ideal size for one farmer. But just to give you an idea, that would be like this big. If we did, now with the farms, I think it's good to do like 8 by 15. And then with the reason I like to do this is that a good orchard size would be 4 by 15, which you guys can pretty much picture. All right, so if we get orchards, now the other thing we need to consider is ranches for like the different animals that we'll hopefully be able to get. And I keep doing that. I promise I will try to stop. So we have this trading post which does a couple things for us besides use up all our materials. And that's going to give us storage. So we really need to consider, once we get this built, what kind of crop and whatnot we're going to go for. I think it's going to be whatever comes first. And yeah, that's it. So having said all of that, I think that what I would like to do is plan on putting cattle pens up in this area, which I usually typically like to just do the biggest ones we can get away with. The pasture's too large. There we go. You know, 20 by 20. There are arguments for other sides, and we'll discuss that more, but we could get a few of those up in here. And then I'm thinking that we tend to make this more of a farming area, trying to stay away from this hill, because I was looking at this hill a little bit more, and I don't know that I would call it perfect, but if we come here, we can put, spin that around. Oops. Are you going to make a liar out of me now? Yeah, no, so we could put like a mine on any side of this that we wanted. We could put it on all 4 sides. So I think it's definitely this somewhere up in here maybe, or over this side will be our blacksmithing / iron area, just because of this hill right here is sort of ideal. So even as time goes on, we may move over, you know, so I don't want to get too close to this hill. But having said that, there's a lot of room, I believe, down in here. There we go, we have a trading post. All right, so let's set up our trading post. Now there's really nothing that we're making too much of. And if we take a look, it's going to depend on which trader comes along, but one of the better things we could make at this point is firewood, though that's going to cut down on the amount of wood that we have, right? So I think we're not going to do anything right at this moment, but this is nice because we can set things in here as like a backup. So when we start getting too much food and we can start just bringing things over here, which is really kind of nice. So when it comes to purchasing, we can purchase things. So I'm very glad we got that done. Now all of that, I was talking longer than I think I anticipated talking. But what I would like to do is think about, hey, we cleared out all that stuff pretty quick. Let's keep these guys busy. Let's get some more wood going. All right, and then do we need more? Well, we kind of need more of everything. Let's just sort of get them to clear out everything over here, just to keep them busy, even though I said we were going to clear out down to this way. Let me come down to here. I just want to, this will be our place we put things. Let's go ahead and open this up, and we'll just put it on top of this one. Hopefully that doesn't disturb our view too much. But then we have an idea of where things are at as far as this layout of things goes. So, you know what? I'm even going to pause it just for a second because I don't want to actually build these roads, but I want to use them to kind of lay out what we're going to do. So if we came into here, this at this point will be, where's our, there it is. Yeah, so this would be our road that would at least come up this far, right? And then eventually, I've said this in the last episodes, I like to have an extra road. This can get very busy in here, and I just like the way it looks. So like this would be inside of the bounds, and I usually like to put another road out here. So if we were to come down to here, right, this would be, oops, did I just build another road over there? I think I might have. And then the other thing I want to do is come here. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, let's build it up to there. Yeah, see, that would be red, red. I just want to build like right tight around this, just so that we have it. Yeah, that would be red. Okay, so that's fine. So we will actually build this road. So again, I don't want to build all of these. So does that make sense that this, and what we would normally do is something like along this, or what I would normally do is, oops, what's going on there? Oh, we have these constructions or demolitions. So what I would normally do is something like this. Where is our, yeah, that would be red, green, like here, and then this would come out this way, and we start forming. If you guys have played the game a lot or enough, you kind of would probably recognize this type of pattern, where we would tend to try to put as many houses in the middle or in the crosses here, and then in the diagonals, the ones in these quadrants, we would put the things we'd need. Now this is getting up into this hill. And again, this, I sort of wanted to do this. Now, if we came here, this would be, yeah, I think that's in line. You know, something like this would be the other side of that. Now, when we start getting to the outskirts, yeah, I mean, at some point, we're just going to build another city. So it's not like we're going to, well, we might fill this whole area with stuff, but I don't mind, especially in the beginning, building some farms and whatnot, things that we wouldn't necessarily keep inside of our city market bounds, you know, because they take up room, especially when we have this, where I do want to take advantage of all these trees, and we may keep this as a forester for a little bit longer as we build things up. So having said that, let's try to come in here and think about where a farm would fit relative to this. Now we could change this around, but let's just see. Let's go to farms, and you know, I don't want to build it too far into that area, but if we put like the first farm here, can we go? Yeah, look, we can go 15. Why can't you be placed in that location? What is there? Is it just a hill? Oh, there it is. Oh, you know what? That's that little road that I built by accident. Remember I said I thought I might have laid down a road? There we go. Good. That was kind of very disappointing to me that we couldn't do that. So in any event, if we come here, yeah, there we go. There's our road, and we did 15 by 8. And let me just go double check my calculator. I'm pretty sure I have that. Yep, wrong one. There is, so the other thing I'd recommend is that they do have, yeah, 15 by 8. So this is very close. If you do the math, did that again. 15 by 8 is actually extremely close to an 11 by 11. And again, the reason I like the 15 by 8 over that is because you can break these up into orchards or crop fields. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this guy, though we will probably build it fairly soon. And it's really removing crops anyway. So let's go ahead and do, and then we can decide to encroach more as time goes on as far as these fields go. And then let me just put one more down, and then we'll go back to, let's make sure we're, yeah, right here. Yeah, 15 is the longest you can make it. So there we. Oop, why didn't you like that? Do we have another? Okay, we got another road there. Let's cut that back. We don't need that road. We're going to delete all the roads in a minute. The only reason I'm doing this in paused mode is because we're... Yeah, so let's go find right there. Alright, so that should put two parallel farms next to our roads. Yeah, and that would sort of box in our town, but we'll still have the path out here to get into this area. And then, does that make sense? So that's where we'll build our first farms. Now, as far as, yeah, we already built this straight off of here, so I sort of picked up my pattern. Now, this little hill messes us up, but if we look, that's sort of the same pattern over here as far as being able to put a lot of houses here. Other stuff, like we'll consider moving around our blacksmith and our woodcutters to be more efficiently in here. Like maybe we put our woodcutters here where the forestry is. And maybe this town doesn't, well, they all kind of need woodcutters, and as time goes on, you have this debate of how big do you make each of your towns. And there we go. So let's get rid of a lot of these roads that I don't want to build, and then we can put time back on. Get rid of that. I don't really want to build this just yet. You know what? I would definitely consider building. Let me get rid of all of that, and then this. I just don't want these guys spending too much time doing that. So the other thing about having said all of that is a school. You guys have brought up comments about making a school. Some people make it the absolute top priority. I think, did we get rid of all those roads? Yeah, I'm going to have them build this road because that'll be fine. So let's go back to playing time. Give the builders something to do while we discuss other things. And look, we have another adult, and we got another baby born. So yeah, we really need to get food going. So you know, why don't we, just in that light, even though it's going to be a while, we could use the resources, and it's not like we have to assign farmers to it anytime soon. So why don't we just have them go out there and take care of the crop fields as part of what they're going to do here in a minute. And we should definitely get the storage barn going over here to help save on some of our food trips. But we're holding our own on food. So I think the thing that we need to do now, besides get the school going, which I think we should have enough materials. I must know we do. Yeah, let's get the school going. I think we're in its... You know, the problem's going to be that we're not going to get more people, but I think we have enough extra people, even if we don't have enough food places. And as we do this, so I'm thinking of, you know, houses in here, which is going to be a little awkward with the hill there, but since we're going to go in this direction, I think having the school here is going to be as good as any other place. I don't think it's that critical where you put your school. Right, so there we go. So we'll just have them build that more or less right away. I don't like to get too many of these, but this is really just a removal project. So it's not like it's much of a real construction project. So there we go. So now, yeah. So we'll get the school going, and I just think that the last episodes we were more worried about the food. So we'll be in decent shape, and we have. Even though it says only 3 laborers, we do have more, if that makes sense. So, because some of these people are at their limit as far as the amount of stuff that they can produce. Like this herbalist will sit there for a long time. Alright, so what do we do next? One of the things that I got a comment on, and we'll test it when we get these fields built, and one of the reasons I wanted to build the field, they said, Well, you can grow potatoes, and I don't think we can grow anything until we get seeds. So I think I just don't remember. It's no seeds means no planting, no crops, no cattle, no orchards. So, and we may sneak an orchard or two in here. Depends on what we can afford to purchase and what the first traders, well, not first traders. Yeah, food is low. Thank you for telling me that. So, I am going to think about what we can do in order to get some seeds, which we're probably going to need like 2,000 or 1,200. It's going to cost us quite a bit. So, I think personally the best thing we should do is maybe ramp up the amount of firewood. It's something that we can do without too much hurt. It's probably good to have a certain amount of extra firewood. It's not going to hurt us. It might slow our construction down slightly. So we'll raise that firewood limit up to 500, and then we'll start putting more and more of it in there, because I think a lot of times you can get like 4 if I'm remembering right. It's been a little while since I played, but firewood is good early money before you get other industries going at that point. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go. We got this road out here built. Won't hurt them in getting out here to this. We could probably also... Well, let's just let them build. We need to get a little bit of time caught up here. Not time caught up, but let some time pass. And we'll have to put someone on working here if we decide to keep any inventory. Probably could come up and do this. Yeah, let's just start out with, like, say, take 100 firewood there, which won't happen until we put a worker on there. So as far as that, another thing we could probably think about doing is slowly ramping up the number of herbs that we take over there, because we don't want to deplete ourselves of herbs, but we should have plenty at this point. Yeah, leather, a lot of these basic things we're not going to want to take. We're going to want to get things that are worth, like iron tools would be a good thing to do as well. Yeah, why don't we up the number of iron tools that we're making? At least it's, we're going to have some buildings that need iron, but that's our tailor. Yeah, let's take that to 0. No, 100's too much. Well, is 100 too much? Yeah, 100's kind of too much. Let's go with 50. And then what I can do is just start tucking some of these away over time, so we can call out to get 50 over here, and once we get up to that. But I don't want to take away our iron too much, as we're wanting to build things like quarries and iron mines and stuff like that. Now, what are we doing with the schoolhouse? We've removed all the stuff. We've got logs. We have everything we need. We just need to get it over there, so that's good. And then, what else are we building? Yeah, crop fields. I guess they're over here removing the crops from the crop fields. That'll be nice to get those going. So yeah, I think we're in, reasonable shape. I mean, the food's a little bit scary. We should probably consider maybe even another fishing hut. And we got 4 laborers, so another thing we could definitely talk about doing, and I'm not sure where the best place would be. Maybe like right over here, we could talk about another. What do we have? That's another house with no space in between, but we could build a road. Yeah, let's do that. It won't take too long. Yeah, we can get out here and then along the back of these, and I think I'll just go straight, even if the houses aren't straight. And then we could talk about another woodcutter over here. And again, like, looking at it, this would be the area for houses, so I would tend to want to start moving things over there. That's really not bad, because I think then this could become more of an industrial area. Like I said, I definitely could picture us putting a a mine right here when we can afford it, and that's a nice thing to get. Like I said, one thing at a time. We don't have too many extra people. But now we see this is the positive part. Now we got 5 laborers, which is really nice. That's the positive side of this is the debate. Like, do you take the time to build the school and you get better people, but you know, at the same time, are you better off building some more houses and getting more people? It's certainly definitely worth educating people, but at the same time, it's also really good to have those extra people when you need them for different things. And is more people better, in a sense, more productive than more efficient people? And I tend to think more people is the better way to go in the beginning, but in the long run, more educated is the better way to go. In other words, when you're first starting to struggle to get out, just more and more people produce more and more stuff, even more than as opposed to taking that time and, quote, biting the bullet to get them educated. You know, we'll see. I think we're in good shape. We have 5 laborers, which means when we do get the school going, we can easily put a teacher over there. I'm going to start stagnating our population at this moment. Like, I'm not going to build this house over here that I had planned, with the hope that we've kind of had our baby boom and that we're not going to be making too many extra babies. We've got a few extra workers. You know, we got 7 people that are just builders or laborers. We've got somebody in each trade. So I think now is probably it definitely feels like a good time to get the school done. You know, at the same time, we have ramped up the amount of firewood that we'll be making. We've ramped up the amount of tools that we're making. And we could get somebody in working as a trader here pretty quickly, and hopefully get some kind of seeds or crops or something. And hopefully it's something that we could maybe even make alcohol out of. Though I think I'd rather have some seeds than trees, but getting apples or something that we can make the alcohol is a pretty good thing to get going as well. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear. You know, I don't think you can always just have one strategy that you force on this game. Sometimes the game, that doesn't force you, but it's hard to fight the game in a sense. If it's going to give you a lot of people, take advantage of the lot of people. If it's going to give you fewer people, then make sure you get your school going sooner. So there we go. We have all but the little bit of iron. And we've got plenty of stuff to haul here. Yeah, so let's take a look at our... So if you look, like, we can't choose anything here at this point. Say, like, we can't pick a crop. We have no seeds. We can't tell it, yeah, I want to plant potatoes. So there you go. So it's still good to get the crop field there. It's a bit of a space holder, and it's just not going to be a bad thing as soon as we're ready. Now, on that note, yeah, well, we'll let these things build up before we start carting them over there. But I'm pretty happy. We're doing fine. We could probably go a little bit faster, but I want this to be a little bit of a relaxed thing, and we're getting close. I'd like to keep these videos a little bit shorter than the workers and resource videos. We'll keep it a little over a half hour, and I think we've done pretty well for ourselves in this episode. Maybe we'll, yeah, as long as we're pretty diligent about building the school, why don't we call it quits after the school is built? We'll get a teacher over there. We'll be waiting for, as I start seeing that our tools and everything is fine, we'll get that going. And then we talk about an industry. There's no reason that, yeah, we can't. I mean, an iron mine is awful expensive, and it also takes a good number of people. So it's, you know, some of these things are great to kind of get, but, you know, well, I guess it's not so expensive, but it's not exactly cheap. It takes a good amount of your iron, and it also just takes a lot of people. But now the nice thing about getting quarries and mines going is that they are kind of a people labor buffer. Like, you don't have to sit there and keep assigning things to people constantly. Let's you know what, let's come in here and get rid of any last iron or stone out of this area. point where we're covering. Yeah, we got all this stone. Is there any other iron? I think there's some iron over here. We'll get some of that going, just to say we got it going. Okay, as you guys can probably tell from the little message that I left, that at the very end, and it sort of seems like it's happened 2 episodes in a row, we had a little frame rate issue. So I cut off the last minute of me saying goodbye, so I will say goodbye again, and hopefully this will not happen. But I break the videos, or the program automatically breaks the videos into 30-minute segments. So I apologize, by the way, for the last episode that ended a little bit stuttery, and this one got like really bad. So I'm hoping that this isn't so horrible at this point, but really the only thing I'm recording is and we're actually right where I had stopped the recording and saved it. So it was only a minute or so that you guys, in a theory, missed, though I doubt you missed much at all. So in any event, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully, I think what I'm going to do is put a little cut in the video before 30 minutes of the next one. So that way we don't have this same issue. Either that or I could just end the video before the 30-minute mark, which I don't really want to have that hard limit in life, but I'm not. I will try things and see what's going on with that. I did make some more room on the hard drive, and I'm going to try to keep a little bit better idea of why that may be happening. There's nothing that I'm seeing at this point that would really point to why that should be happening. But in any event, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one, and hopefully we can make it 40 minutes and not have any stuttering issues, but I will pay more attention as time goes on. So thank you for watching. Have a good day, and